Hello everyone, my name is Quad and welcome to a little bit of a different video than usual. In this video we will talk about the Infested Lich weapons. We don't know anything about them, but I will talk about them at least a little bit to see which ones we can actually get. Let's first say that we know absolutely nothing about the Infested Lich weapons, so just to speculate a bit, I think the name of the new weapons such as Tenet, Kuva, types for the QuadLyStop and Sisters of Parvas. Well, I think the new weapons for Infested Liches are gonna be named Coda. There are two reasons why I think the weapons are going to be named that way. The first one is the name of the infestation we are up against, the Coda Technosite, and the second one is that the name is just very cool. But, as I said, this is just a speculation and a pure thing of my mind, so let's look at some facts. If we look at the Kua weapons and the Tenet weapons that came out at first, there was 8 Kuva weapons and 12 Sisters of Parvos weapons. First, let's look at the Kuva weapons, which ones we got with the release. We got 8 of them actually, 4 primary, 3 secondary, and 1 melee. These were Kom, Kraken, Ogress, Kortak, Seer, Shieldegg, Tonkor, and Twin Stubas. Out of the 8 weapons of the Kuva variation that we got with the release, there was only one melee one that was unique, the Kuva Shieldegg. Every single other weapon was already in the game. If we look at the Tenet weapons as well, we got 12 with the release of the Sisters of Parvos, and the only ones we didn't get from here were Glaxion, Plinks, and I think Ferox. So yeah, we got 12 of them in total. 4 primary weapons, 4 secondary weapons, and 4 melee weapons. The only difference is that the melee weapons were actually not obtainable through the Sisters of Parvos, but rather through the Parent Sequence Syndicate. So, I don't know if we should include these ones because they are unique, all 4 of them, but they are not really the Sisters of Parvos Tenet weapons, if you know what I mean. If we look at the 12 weapons we got with the release then, without the melee weapons, we got 3 unique ones out of 8 weapons. So yeah, there's still a lot of uniqueness, and if we look at the whole group of weapons we got with the release, so out of 12 and with the melee weapons, we got 7 unique ones. So there is a pattern of reusing old weapons that are not as good and making them better. But which ones? We do not know, so let's take a look at a few of them, first starting with the primary weapons. Now, as I said multiple times now, there is hard to predict which weapons are going to get revamped. But I think there is 3 characteristics that really make a weapon here. First one, that the weapon can be made in 1999. So, no Mutalist Quanta or Mutalist Cernas. The second one, it is not based in the future, which is kind of the same as the previous statement I made, but you know what I mean. And the third one, the weapon is not too strong because of the gameplay mechanics. What I mean by this is that the weapons that were previously not as good, for example, the Mighty Seer, even though it is the best gun, and Nukor, got a revamp of the Kuva version, so they were a lot better, and are now probably one of the best weapons in the game. Now, if we use this logic, it wouldn't make sense to make a very good weapon a improved version of something, so, let's start with the first weapon here, which is Bubonico. Now, Bubonico is an arm cannon that is extremely good, and it is already a very high mastery rank. Even though I would love to see this weapon as an Infested Lich version, I don't think it will ever come because it is already very powerful. Now, going down the line, there is Hema. Hema is a burst rifle of the Infested, and it is one of the worst weapons to farm, so getting an Infested Lich version would be very awesome. The stats it has here are not the best, as you can see. Low critical chance and quite high status chance, but the damage output is not as good, even though it is viral. In my opinion, Hema is one of the best contenders here for the Infested Liches, since there's not many other weapons that fit the criteria of not being from the future and being from the past, like the ability to be in the past. I would just honestly really love to see Hema a bit more in the game, but the next weapon I was looking at right here somewhere was the Mutalist Cernas. Where is it? Here we go, Mutalist Cernas and Mutalist Quanta. Both of these weapons are from the future, so you know, I don't think we will see them, even though it would be funny to see another version of Cernas or Quanta, since there is already too many of both. Same also goes for the Parasist and the Proboscis Cernas, because they are also just a Cernas and a heavily mutated by the Infestation Quanta, which is, you know, Infestation really seems to like Quanta and Cernas for some reason. Continuing down the line even more, there is Sporothrix, which I think is a good contender, but I am having a feeling that it is actually an Orokin rifle that is mutated, so I'm not exactly sure if this is possible. But continuing even more down below, there is this, Synapse. Now Synapse is a very unique weapon that is not that good. It shoots a laser stream that does corrosive damage, but it is not that good. Because of it not being able to be that good and being able to be from the past, I would say that Synapse is a very good contender for an Infested Lich weapon. Also, the laser could be like Nucor or Glaxion, for example, just switching between the enemies, so you know, it is fun to play. And now we continue to the last weapon, which is Torrid. Now, of course, everyone would probably love a Infested Lich version of Torrid, but it will definitely not come because of one specific thing. We have an Incarnon adapter for it, and that means it will not be there for us. Definitely not. Torrid is already one of the best guns in Warframe with its Incarnon adapter equipped, so yeah, definitely not coming with the Infested Liches. So let's continue down to the secondary weapons. Secondary weapons actually have quite a lot of good contenders. First one is the Catabolist. Now, Catabolist being a pistol that is from the Infestation purely and doesn't appear to be from the future at all. It could be from the past, so you know, we have a good contender here. It does not do a lot of damage, and it is, I would say, a weapon that is hard to make good. You can make it, absolutely, but it does require quite a lot of effort, so I think it is a good contender. If we continue down though, Dual Toxicist. I know a lot of people would really love to see an Infested Lich version of this weapon, but it is not coming because we have an Incarnon adapter for it, so, you know, it is already insanely good. Embolist. Now, I think Embolist is actually a good contender for another Infested Lich weapon, because it is not that good. It can be made in the past and not in the future from the Infestation itself, and it just does small amounts of damage. It is not that good, even though, you know, you can build it extremely good. The next secondary weapon is Pox, which is a throwable weapon that makes a little gas when it lands. It has very high status chance and very little critical chance, which makes it perfect for, well, Infested Lichification. It could be made in the past because it is literally just a sack of freaking gas, and yeah, I think that is a good contender as well. And the last weapon from the Infestation is Zymos. Now, Zymos is not that good if I remember correctly. And the last secondary weapon from the Infestation is Zymos, which is another weapon that is not that good. Of course, you can mod it good, but it is hard to. And you can get it from the Father at Necrolisc, so it may be only built in the future, but we don't know. We may get it, we may not, we don't know. When it comes to the melee weapons, There is a lot of them, and we will not go over all of them in depth because it would just be too much. So let's first look at the Aurum Spinosa. Now, Aurum Spinosa is a good fan weapon that is not the best actually, but it is good, even though I don't think it will get an Infested Lich version because, well, you can get it at Necrolisk from the Arcana bounties if I'm right. The second one is Serata, which would make sense since Serata is a glaive and Warframe being Warframe and Dark Sector being before it, would make sense for DE to make Serata a better weapon. So I think we will get Serata as Infested Lich version here. The next melee weapon, or the previous we almost missed, is the Cost Assist, which is a scythe weapon that is actually really good. Of course, compared to the best melee weapons, it is not that good. You need to mod it very carefully. But yeah, I think we may get this one as an Infested Lich version. Infested Lich version. Continuing down the line, there is the Dual Ichor, which we will not get because of the Incarnon adapter we have for it. Sadly, it is already one of the best weapons in the game, so you know, definitely not getting a Infested Lich version of it. But if we continue down, there is Hirudo, which I yet again do not think we will get since the requirements to build this weapon are, well, the weapons we have in the future. Even though they are only like boxing gloves, but you know, they still are. The next weapon here is Keratinos, which I do not think we will get because of one specific reason. You can only get it from the Necrolisk, which is quite a farm, so it wouldn't make sense to have a better version of a weapon locked behind a farm that is harder. So yeah, probably not gonna get Keratinos. But if we continue, let's go to Legion, which is an evolved bow weapon, if I'm right, so no, probably not getting it. But Meyer, a very good contender since it is basically just a slab of infested meat and tissue and bones that looks like a sword. That's it. I think we will actually get Meyer as an Infested Lich weapon. But if we continue, we have the Pathocyst, which we will not get, I am sure of it, because it is one of the weapons that you get from the Prelate boss fight, which is extremely grindy, and the weapon is also quite good, so we probably will not get it. Continuing down the line to the Pulmonars, yet again I think we will not get this weapon because the crafting requirements for it are all the materials from the Deimos, Cambion Drift, but the Poop Assist, I think the Poop Assist is a good contender yet again. It is literally just a staff with a bunch of infestation. And the last melee weapon from the infestation is Skoliak. Now Skoliak is a whip that is definitely something that could be made from the infestation itself in 1999, so I think it is a good contender. It is not the best, so, you know, good status chance, but not the best critical chance, so there is some improvement. But yeah, we might get it in the future. And that is it. That is all the weapons of the infestation we have now. I know we might also get some of the weapons I skipped over, for example, Quanta or Mutalis Cernos or something like that is infested, because we will get the liches in the future, not in the past, so you know, there is something to it, but I don't think that will happen. What are the best contenders for the primary weapons? I think the best ones are Hema here, and also Synapse. Now, where is it? Synapse right here. I think these two are the best. When it comes to the secondaries, I think the best one are definitely the Embolist and also the Pox, since they are easy to make for the infestation and not from the future, but there might be other ones as well. Please let me know down in the comments if you think some other weapons might also be added. When it comes to the melee weapons though, I think the best weapons are the Kotastic, Serata, and the poop assist down here. The other ones have Incarnon adapters or are already really good. So yeah, I think that is not something we will get, the other ones. These ones though that I mentioned, yeah, I think we will get. Or at least have a chance to get. But my question for you now is, which weapons would you like to have? Which weapons from these ones I mentioned here would you like to have, and which ones would you also like DE to create? Because they are definitely cooking something good in my opinion, and I am really hoping on an infested flamethrower primary, not a secondary like Embolist. I just want to burn everything with gas, if that makes sense. Please let me know everything down in the comments because I'm very curious and, well, DE being creative as they are going to definitely surprise us with some of the weapons. At least when it comes to the infestation because it is wild. But yeah, thank you for watching. This was just a little bit of a food for thought video. So yeah, thank you again and have a very nice day. Bye guys.